Welcome to the Retro Sega Wonder Show. I'm Sir Nigel, and today we're going to play King of the Monsters, which is an arcade game that came home to the Sega Genesis. We'll just see how far we can get before we have to continue. It's a rather simple fighting game. As you can see, the instructions are on the top of the screen. Is A to punch, B to kick, C to run, but then A and B together to jump, and you have to hold down A and B together for your projectile weapon. 4 characters to choose from. I always choose Astro Guy. Stage 1. Like most games that started off in the arcades and then later on came home, it's really designed to use up as many quarters as it can. So, you fight all over the city while beating up the opponent monster and knocking the P out of them. Oh yes, you want to collect all the P you can, because the more P you get, the more powered up your character is. There are actually 2 full levels of power you can gain, in addition to the level of power that you start with. And you knock the P out of them through grapple moves and hold moves and such, while using the terrain to your advantage. And you can even pick up things, certain buildings and objects, and throw them at your opponent, which doesn't really do that much, but it's kind of fun to do. It's a nice touch considering this is a monster fighting game. It's sort of like a combination of fighting game and wrestling game, because you do have these moves that are very similar to wrestling moves, and you win by pinning your opponent. And not on Pinterest either. Let's try to do a little jump. That was a good jump. Pick up his P, and then try again to pin him. It usually takes a couple tries to be successful. There we go. The thing that really makes this munch the quarters in the arcade is the fact that at the start of every level, your power doesn't completely refill. It just refills a little bit. So that is going to end up making you slide some of those nice quarters in the game. So now we have the same city again, except it's a night view. And in this match, we should be able to get to the second power level. There have been times when I've played this before, where once you get really good at it and really familiar with the controls, you can just knock the P out of your opponent as much as you want. And I've done that before, where even after they're out of power, you can keep fighting with them to collect the magic P. See, now we're the second power level. And so if you wanted to, you could really keep at it and power up all the way on just the first level. Little running kick. Well, it would have been a running kick. Now it's going to be a running kick, just for the fun of it. Let's reverse this. There we go. And he's just about ready to do this too, although he still has a little bit of power left. So not quite there yet, but soon. Now we'll probably need to pin him a couple more times. Probably one more pin should do it. And now that we're almost out of power too, you'll be able to see how little power you actually gain back between the levels. There we go. Bonus points. See, that's all the power we're going to gain back for this level. So invariably you do end up having to feed the machine some quarters. But of course it's designed that way specifically so they can make money on the game. If it was designed in such a way that you never needed to give the machine any extra quarters beyond the initial quarters to play the game, they'd never make any money on it. So, it's understandable from a business standpoint. Take some of that. Take some of that. Come here, you. And this entire game takes place in a fictional Japan. Oh, come on. Oh, well. When your opponent has you in a hold like that, if you mash the buttons enough, you can usually reverse it and do something interesting to them instead. Although it does seem like in this game the amount of strength your character has is related to how much power you have left. So if your opponent is full power and you're not, then I don't think you can reverse holds and things like that as easily. Come on, we gotta get him and smack him. There we go. If we got to one more power level, that would be helpful. And of course, when they do pin you, as you can see on the screen, you just gotta mash the buttons like crazy to try to get up. Come on, let's get up. Let's do it. Oh, well. All right, let's enter the high score. Sir Nigel Cogs. There we go. So that's a little look at King of the Monsters. I hope you enjoyed the video. Retro thumbs are magic. Subscribe and follow for more. And thanks for watching the Retro Sega Wonder Show.